Hello, today I will introduce to you the point-to-point e-commerce system of Mobazha. This is our site. You can go to visit, and then you can enter our mall. At the entrance of this place, you can understand that our system itself is a commodity of a merchant without a centralized server, like Bitcoin transactions, which use cryptocurrencies as well as things like Bitcoin. Then Ethereum, Solana and chains these stable coins or other tokens as a means of payment. We also support Stripe-based payment methods, such as credit cards. Traditional enterprise users can also use this system. In today's presentation, in addition to this point-to-point, in order to follow the habit of most users, we also provide such a way of the website, which you can go to visit. In addition to the website, we have Google and Apple apps. There is another one based on Telegram. In Telegram, such a mini app, you can browse the different products of the merchants in this program. Browse a merchant's different products and make a purchase of his products. Yes. In today's demonstration, I will demonstrate a user's purchase process, a process of purchasing goods. I have 3 browsers here. This is Firefox. This is Google's browser. And I have a Brave browser. Those 3 browsers are equivalent to 3 different users. There are 3 user roles in our point-to-point anonymous: the buyer, the seller, and the moderator, the arbitrator, the 3 parties. Because of the I want to ensure that the buyer's payment fund, this fund is the address hosted in a smart contract on the blockchain. The release of funds at the escrow address requires multiple signatures. To release the funds, at present, there are 3 parties or 4. The 3 parties need 2 parties to release the unified funds, and then the funds will be released automatically. Yes, so the funds are not directly transferred to the seller. Let's go and do it now. To demonstrate, I am here as a buyer. I want to buy such a product of a user here. I'm testing now. At this time, I made an order. Test buy. At this time, you can see that we provide all kinds of payments in various cryptocurrencies in the system. At the same time, the following also provide credit cards or WeChat, Alipay and so on. At present, WeChat, Alipay is temporarily closed to users in mainland China on the chain. In addition to the main coin, we can provide the USDT Solana for payment. This role is what we just talked about. As an arbitrator, anyone in the network can be an arbitrator. He has a description of his service and a handling fee he charged. I can have some certified Jewish people, arbitrator, The man can choose which arbitrator to guarantee the service of the goods in his store. For example, if I am a user, his user's payment can be arbitrated. If there is no arbitration, and then there may be a problem of capital. Although there is an arbitrator, under normal the arbitrator does not only when there is a dispute in your the arbitrator will be reminded to intervene, and then he will provide arbitration services to you, release the funds, and one of his statements. If we recommend this time, we will choose a guaranteed, and then we're over here. If you want to pay at this time, you have to use your own before Millet wallet. We made a built-in, but users may prefer you can use the wallet on the phone or the wallet in the browser. If you're a wallet on a QR code, then you use your mobile wallet to scan QR code to connect your mobile, or at this time, I also use on my browser directly. After connecting that, I'll make the payment. It will hang you up. I used Solana payment, not the collective above. It is not mine, and then confirm that at this time you will place the order and then pay at this time. The seller here will yes. Now there is a user placed an order for him to pay for some. We are now testing this amount. We need to calibrate some exchange rate, and I will update them later. Then the order number of his payment is the transaction, that is, you can find the transaction number then when we are unified, because he wants to receive payment from the other side. He accepts the order, and he also needs his signature. Connect his Solana, and then receive. And then deliver after the goods are delivered. In this way, this side says that the goods are delivered, and then you arrive and then give him an evaluation. And then complete the order. When he completes the order, he also asks him to sign it and then release the funds. At this time, the order is completed. Let's take a look at the specific payment in here. The signature on Star's zipper for this deal. Let's check it out. Solana Banana browser. At this time, that there is such a transaction in 2 minutes. One of the details in the contract of this transaction is that there was an initial contract 2 minutes ago, and the buyer, his address is. It was the seller, and then the buyer made a sum of money to the current contract. Then he needs at least 2 signatures, the release of his funds, and he will appoint a buyer, a seller, and an arbitrator. His release require that signatures of the 3 parties the funds are being released. This is one of his payments for the release of funds. Because we have just completed the order, let's take a look at the contract. At this time, this one is behind. There will be a release of funds, and he will give important funds. This account is a collection address allocated by the seller. The seller did not say that he was the seller here. This is our expansion browser. If the seller is here, he is in this place. In this place, it is able to match the collection address on it, such as the live address of Solar and Strap. You see, this is its Solar, the address just now. And then it can also be matched with Ethereum. You are the address of the smart chain of the coin secure or the Bitcoin of the base association, and so on. We will add the support of other chains in the future. So you saw the address of his place just now. And then the transaction, our deal is over here. We're going to demonstrate a pay, and then the arbitrator comes in and deal with it. This case is still the same. I will log in. One more user here. This is what we use as an arbitrator now. The user is in this system. You can see that there are many different commodities in the, and then there are many. He has one of his goods. If the arbitrator is here, it is in his own setting. It can be matched in this place. If he wants to be, and he can open it. He said that I can be an arbitrator in the network. And then its information will be in its settings. What is the arbitration? Which language networks are supported? Here we use the user to buy this product test. And then test me, and he said he could submit it. At this time, I was in this place, and I chose the other. This is a DT of the test. I'm not on the real network, online development, online, or selecting users as arbitrators. Then pay. This is the chain stable currency T. Not because it does not have a public T in the development chain. This is a clause that needs to be created by myself. This is a clause that I built, including a similar imitation stable. If we are not on the production, we will be a real one. A real and below it is if you use the stable coins on the Solana chain. You also pay a handling fee on the Solana chain, which is paid by Solana. Have to pay for the investment of on the handling fee on Solana's chain is very low. When I paid at this time, I used the SAT, and then if the buyer is here, he will accept it if he is. Similarly, he received such a at this time for our arbitrator. He actually does not know there is such a deal going on. Only when there is a dispute will he be, and if he doesn't need to deal with disputes. He also does not charge arbitration fee. At this time, the buyer received the order may be broken. The buyer receives the order, and then he agrees to deliver the goods. For example, the buyer has not delivered, then the seller's parents did not deliver the goods for a long time. The seller thought there might be a problem. He wanted to get his money back, or he wants to have an arbitration. At this time, he arbitration and did not receive the goods. At this time, if he is here, he opened a case so that the order was in a controversial. At this time, if we are on the side of the he will receive such one. The information of such an order and the order information is here. At this time, he is chatting here. What happened? He went to find out the then you. Say. For. Example. The seller. I didn't receive the goods, and now he sees the news at this time. Yes, there are is resolved. The dispute. At this time, his final distribution plan. The staff is here to give an allocation plan. Arbitrator. His billing address. His billing address is disabled. Not open. I want the arbitrator has an address. But the arbitrator will also his arbitration fee. There was no percent just now. Anyway, the arbitration of this book is here. They chat here. And the arbitration, then the buyer or the unified the arbitration scheme. If you look at the allocation of funds here, the arbitrator took part of it. Then this is the seller. About 10%. And then this is the arbitration, which is for Ruijao and Spo. Then the buyer or the seller agrees to this fund. Because his signature is also required. And the arbitrator just gave his and then you have to sign with the other party. Then he will receive so much of a and then he needs to pay a small amount of for such an arbitration. He accepted. The buyer accepted the arbitration was over. And then we'll look at it. A flow of funds on the chain. In this contract, there was a transaction 6 minutes ago. and 3838 seconds of funds just now. 6 minutes ago. Let's take a look. Then you can see that it has it this time. This is a change of a broadening transfer of a TT, and then we receive one. And then we look at the details of the contract below. The situation a year. And then the following is the buyer and seller. And then which wallet address. How much was paid for the trusteeship is the current DT. And then if at least two parties, this is the beginning. After that, the release of the escrow. On this side, release from the contract. And then who received the funds. And how much money they receive, how much money is given, and how much money is allocated to such a fund. Yes. If you check your wallet, you can see a change in the balance of your wallet. Okay, I demonstrated this. Demonstrated what I just said, the stable coin on it. We can also support in the next demonstration. I will demonstrate the use of Strap, which now covers most of the world and supports all kinds of legal currency payments. We also hope to introduce a lot of traditional user words into our Web3 world. Then they need to have a transition. Thanks for watching.